Brought to you by Charity Mobile. Switch to the phone company that supports your beliefs. All plans start under $50 before taxes and surcharges. Use promo code TRADITION at CharityMobile.com for a special offer.
This update here comes to us from Michael Heinous over on X. Michael Heinous reports on Bishop Strickland has a new show coming. He's launched a new podcast. Bishop Michael Heinous, who writes for Per Miriam and LifeSite News, as well as some other outlets. Bishop Strickland has launched a new venture named PillarsOfFaith.net. We will speak the truth of Jesus Christ, rooted in his church, under the mantle of Our Lady for the salvation of souls. So if you want to hear Bishop Strickland's podcast, you can do that. I will continue to bring some of his addresses that he gives on his Substack to this channel in the future. But he has a new podcast coming. So Pillars of Faith, go check it out. Michael Heinous is a trustworthy source, so you know that will be the legitimate Bishop Strickland outlet instead of some AI slop. A lot of new Catholic channels are pure AI machines. They're just literally a AI-generated speech, reading AI-generated text, purporting to be of a bishop or of the Pope or some other famous Catholic figure, cloning their voice. And it's sadly astonishing numbers of people can't tell that it's fake. It's something I promised to do a video on, and I really should get to that, but there's a lot of these channels out there, so please be vigilant. Bishop Strickland is certainly going to be the target of that stuff at some point. Bishop Barron has been, the Pope, several channels that do the Pope. So just be advised, be a little discerning on Catholic channels that purport to be presenting people. If you're seeing, for instance, Bishop Barron anywhere, then Word on Fire, be suspicious, because he has his own YouTube channel after all. Now we will wrap this up with this story here. The main story of the day. Headline from Info Vaticana. Explosion in Peru left 10 injured, but an image of the Virgin Mary remained intact. We are no strangers in our day and age to social upheaval, the loss of Christian values and culture, chaos, violence used to control political narratives, all of those things. And unfortunately, in countries that have a strong Catholic heritage, parishes get targeted by this stuff. You should expect that to increase as time goes on. And we even saw that visit the most developed countries when Canada had that happen. After all, the Canadian government, along with Pope Francis, promoted an evil story that the Catholic Church had done horrible things to the indigenous kids. It turned out to be a lie. Proven to be a lie, but people still believe it anyway. Many of you will tell me, no, Anthony, you're wrong. It really happened. No, it didn't. It did not happen. I'll go to my grave repeating that it didn't happen. But this kind of violence is something we need to be prepared to see more of, because it's just a sign of the times. But in all this, God gave us a sign of his fidelity. From the article, quote, an explosion on the night of August 14th left 10 people injured and dozens of homes damaged in Trujillo, Peru. Amid the disaster, the image of Our Lady at the gate, preserved in a glass case, remained intact, rekindling the faith of the residents. The city is a symbol of Marian devotion and one of the places where Pope Leo XIV served. According to the state news agency Andina, the violence was focused on a building on Ave, Peru. Initial hypotheses linked the attack to a group called Los Pepes, which allegedly demanded 1 million soles, or about 240,000 euros in dollars, from the owner to spare him and his family. House Minister Durek Whitbenbury reported that some 90 homes were damaged, and the technical crews are assessing and cleaning them to restore them to habitability. The most significant event occurred in Ana Maria Almo's home, where all the glass was destroyed except for the urn that houses the Virgin of the Door, or Our Lady of the Gate. It was terrible, she recalls. At first, we didn't see the urn, but then we realized it was still intact. We thought it was a miracle from our little mother who protects us. The family received the image 30 years ago and celebrates its feast day at home with Mass and prayer. The Virgin of the Gate has her principal sanctuary in Otuzoco and from Trujillo. In 1942, Pope Pius XII proclaimed her Queen of Universal Peace And in January 2018, Pope Francis declared her Mother of Mercy and Hope during his apostolic visit to Peru. An interesting story for these interesting times, that a horrible act of violence done purely for money that destroyed everything in its wake seemed to have miraculously spared an image of Our Lady. An interesting story, to be sure. Now, I'm curious what you have to say about this, so let me know in the comments, please. Do you find any of these stories today surprising? Will you be tuning into Bishop Strickland's new show? Or in general, also pray for those in Peru who are dealing with that kind of church targeting nonsense. We need to, again, brace ourselves for more of this stuff coming, because unfortunately, such is the nature of the times we live in, where the adversaries of all that is good, right, and just in the world will not care or recognize anything about any decency, any boundaries related to the church, or even normal everyday people who may not be directly involved in their little political problem that they're trying to solve using violence. Philippe says these were we'll call them an extra lawful group in Colombia in the 1980s, going after the people who push controlled substances. Right, and you see the problem with that kind of justice is eventually, you are operating outside the law already, but what ends up happening? You operate outside the law often enough, and you will eventually find yourself having an easier time breaking laws, and then just becoming grossly indecent. All right, folks, thanks very much for tuning in today. And as always, pray for the church, and for all those we may have spoken about negatively today, not here to make you angry at them. Like I always say, they do a good enough job on their own doing that. I'm Anthony Stine. Ave Maria.